I recently decided to start a new series of videos where we go beneath what is actually occurring on the surface of a Star Wars lightsaber duel and talk about the emotions characters are experiencing in the midst of these intense duels, and explain why characters take certain actions during some of these fights. In this series, we'll be primarily focusing on the reasoning behind certain attacks and approaches to said duels. We will mainly be focusing on the undertones of the duels rather than talking about every move or sequence executed by the characters, instead looking more at the big picture and analyzing the duel as a whole. For the first installment, I found it fitting we begin with the very first lightsaber duel, the duel that occurred on the Death Star between Obi-Wan Kenobi and his fallen apprentice and former friend, Darth Vader. This duel is very special to me due to the undertones and backstory between the two characters involved. This duel also holds great significance to Vader, especially, who has utilized the past decades to prepare for Obi-Wan's return, and waited for the moment where he would have the opportunity to confront his old master yet again. This being said, in the duel we see a very cautious Vader. This is indeed the same man who many years ago parted Vader from many of his remaining limbs and left him to burn on Mustafar. On top of Vader approaching Obi-Wan in an already defensive stance, he also chose the second setting on his lightsaber blade length, choosing to extend it further than normal in an effort to utilize his strength his cybernetic suit grants him, and keeps Obi-Wan farther away than he would a normal opponent. Vader learned a great deal from his duel with Obi-Wan on Mustafar, this time choosing to outmaneuver and fight smarter rather than just attempt to overpower and power through the opposition. Vader utilizes the first few seconds of the fight to surmise Obi-Wan's now diminished prowess as a duelist, testing his strength with a brief blade lock and testing the old man's speed with a few well-placed strikes. Vader's enhanced strength is what grants him a slight advantage in the duel, but Obi-Wan does well with meeting many of Vader's strikes. It is at this point in the duel Obi-Wan determines he is outmatched, slowly backstepping and deflecting Vader's many strikes. Obi-Wan knew full well before the two even locked blades he was fighting an uphill battle, and he begins to be overwhelmed by the power of the Sith Lord. Obi-Wan and Vader exchange blows for a short while until they find themselves near the exit of the blast door. Obi-Wan at this point truly begins to feel his old age and now advanced skills of Vader. Vader does not relent, giving his old master no time to reclaim his disposure, bombarding him with several power strikes. At this point, Vader is determined to strike down his former teacher and finally claim his revenge. Vader's hate and years of experience hunting and killing Jedi led him to this moment, where he has honed his skill set to engage Jedi. He approaches the fight with his anger in full, but does not let it overwhelm him, and remains composed, fighting the smart fight. It is here stormtroopers catch a glimpse of the duel and rush over to Vader's aid. For a few more seconds, the two enemies match each other's blows until Obi-Wan sees Luke and lowers his guard, allowing himself to be struck down and become one with the Force. Obi-Wan was no fool. He knew full well a duel with Vader would end in his death. His former apprentice had simply surpassed his current abilities, and the purpose for engaging Vader in the first place was to provide time for Luke and the others to escape. Vader approached the fight with all his anger and hatred for Obi-Wan, but instead of trying to smash through his guard, he used blade work and his cybernetic strength to dictate where the fight went, ultimately granting him the victory. Like I said at the start of the video, this is one of my absolute favorite lightsaber duels, and I can really respect that they were pioneering this craft that they were forming at the time. So what do you guys think? Do you think Obi-Wan gave up too easily? Do you think Vader had just honed his skills to the point where Obi-Wan stood no chance? Or do you think what Obi-Wan did was for the best? All comments and insight are absolutely welcome. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter for updates on the channel. We also have a Patreon if you'd like to help contribute to the channel and gain access to some special features. Click the annotations on screen to watch my previous video or a mystery video. Links for all are in the description down below. May the Force be with you and have a great day.